Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for logging into this channel. My name is Victor Sanchez. I'm here with my daughter Stephanie. I'm actually monopolizing our hiking trip to answer some of the questions that come along with building a house in Mexico, and basically all the questions that have to do with pricing and just numerous questions. So hopefully we can answer that today. Some of the top questions is pricing, how expensive it is, and some of the questions have to do with safety. So those two are, since they're the major questions to this, I'm going to answer those towards the end, but I'm going to use this hike to try to answer most of the questions that come along with making a house in Mexico and living there, and all the little things. Stephanie is my oldest daughter. How beautiful she is. She was actually with me in one of the main videos that first got a lot of views, and she's here today to answer those. And there's a lot of questions, and also some really valid questions that I really truly appreciate. And there's also like some snarky ones that come along. But with 103,000 views on that last video, you can expect to have all the positive, and you can expect to have all the negative. However, the negative is mostly what's been heard sometimes when you're trying to decide to move to Mexico, and that's why I wanted to make this video. So stick around. We're gonna hike up the trail, and then at the very end of the trail is when I'm gonna be talking about safety in Mexico. Thank you. Stick around.
Thank you. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with the very first question.
So, Manny Contreras asks, "Hey Vic, let me ask you a question. Do you and your brother live in Chapala, or are you from the States and building your home in Mexico?"
We are from the state. My brother and I are from the States, and we are building a house basically with plans of retirement. And so the answer to your question is, we live in United States, specifically California, and so we travel back and forth to build a house in Mexico. I guess part of the answering these questions is just enjoying this beautiful trail that we're in. All right, next question.
What's the from Joan Richards? What's the best thing to do if you would like to move to Mexico? Is it better to rent first or buy a property and build? And just for you to know, Yeshua, is that how you say it? Is my Redeemer too.
Thank you for the question. Honestly, I think it's better if you go rent. I would say like 6 months at least, because there's a lot of beautiful places in Mexico, and like San Miguel de Allende, I really recommend it. And even like Tulum, I know that you just had that incident with one of the tourists dying, and that's something that we'll talk about later. But I really suggest renting a location, getting to know more about it, and then and a lot of people do that because like for example, if you want to live in Puerto Vallarta and you love the ocean, you have to experience the summer there. The summer there is brutal. So it's beautiful. So it's Tulum, so beautiful places, but the weather is harsh. San Miguel de Allende is a little bit more forgiving. Ciudad de Mexico. So I really suggest that you actually rent at least 6 months before you decide to buy or build. And Yeshua, my Redeemer, thank you for that. Those who follow me in this channel, Yeshua, my Redeemer is actually Jesus is my Savior. A lot of my answers here have to do with my faith. So I know a lot of you don't have the same faith, and I completely just respect that. And so a little bit of that will be more towards the end of the video due to safety. So thank you for that comment.
Hiking in a little while.
I know.
Well, we are kind of a little higher up.
I was telling my daughter that I feel a little winded, but enjoying this hike. So we'll continue with answering the questions. What's the next question, babe?
This was from Ob's dog. Sorry, I don't know. What insulation is used, if any?
In Chapala, there is no need for insulation. The houses are built very different. As a matter of fact, there's no insulation, I would say, in the grand majority of the homes in Mexico. Maybe some of the cooler areas are built different, but I don't really know of any homes in Mexico built with insulation. If you think about it, most homes in the United States are made out of wood, so they need the insulation. However, most houses in Mexico are made out of brick. Brick repels heat and holds in heat really good. Block doesn't, but that's why you don't need the insulation. What's the next question?
From Pedro Villarreal. Sorry.
Pedro Villarreal.
I keep seeing houses being built in Mexico with this rock and cement mix foundation. They seem okay, but wonder if over time, with water and shifting, they will crack and crumble. In Texas, many walls on properties are built this way, and they don't hold up. Are they reliable?
You know, I didn't know that in Texas they built the houses like that. That's a super good point. In Mexico, most houses are built like this. Specifically in Chapala, the reason why they're built with the large foundation or the rock foundation, it's due to erosion in time. I don't know if you guys know, like in Ajic there was a big flood, so those prone for floods, so it's always good to build them out of rock. In the area, I don't see erosion of the rock or cracking. I don't see that much. So I would say that I think they would hold pretty good, at least in the times that I've seen the homes. I've seen some houses right there in the golf course for at least the last 30 years, and they have the same foundation, and they're doing really good. So to answer that question, I believe that they would hold really good. What would be the next one, babe?
This one's from Investigations Mexico. Thank you, my brothers in Christ. Very informative, as I'm seriously considering building a house in Mexico. Are you guys doing any ministry work?
Wow, that's a super good question. We would love to, but because we do live in the United States and building a house in Mexico, that's not the case now. My brother, which is on that second video with home being built under 150,000, he's a pastor. He pastors here in the United States. He has a church, Living Water, and his desire would be to minister over there. Normally I just serve in different areas. I'm not a pastor, but yes, I would love to have a ministry over there and just serve the community. Spanish, like in English, but currently no, we don't have a ministry there. What would be the next one?
This one's from Ataris. Americans, do not be fooled. You cannot own or buy land in Mexico if you do not hold a Mexican citizenship. Only Mexican citizens can purchase land.
I don't know if the intention was, Ataris' intention was to discourage people. I just posted a video maybe a month ago about buying properties in Mexico. I apologize, but I think she's the one being fooled because the laws allow Americans to buy properties in Mexico, and of course there's some restrictions within the borders and ocean sides, but Americans can buy property there. It's pretty simple. I'm going to try to see if I can post it up here, a link for that video, so you guys can see it in many answers. I answered that pretty more in detail. So yeah, Americans can buy property. Not only Americans, we're talking about all different nationalities, because in this channel,
there's like Australians there too, right?
yeah, Australians. We have people from Colombia. Hey, Colombia, how are you? United States, Canada, Australians, just different nationalities. It's all nationalities. So sorry, I think the one you're being fooled is you. You can buy property in Mexico. I wanted to take a break from the questions just to show you. Wow, it's so beautiful here. This is something that my daughter and I just enjoy. It's amazing views. So,
you want to tell them where we are?
Where are we?
We're on a portion of the Pacific Crest Trail near Anza. We started near Anza.
Now, we started hiking like 2 years ago, huh?
Yeah, like hiking together, yeah.
And this trail is the one that you wanted to do 2 years ago.
I've been wanting to, yeah.
So thank you. Anyhow, I'm going to turn to the questions again. But look how beautiful this is. I'm going to turn the camera again. All right, let me get close to you. I don't know if I can, but what's the next question?
From David Troncoso? Hold on, I have to stop.
Sorry guys, we might be butchering your names.
It's okay. Unbelievable. I have thought of doing this in Mexico. How hard is it to deal with the city or country out there? Mm-hmm. Do they make it simple for Americans to move and build in Mexico?
Really great question again. It's very simple. And I'm saying very simple compared to the United States, because I had a friend, he most likely be watching the video, his name's Mike. He built a home in here in California. And boy, what he paid and how hard it was to get everything processed. Whew, that was hard. So is it hard over there? I would say it takes about a month and a half to process everything. Once you have your drawings, you take it to an architect, take it to the city. You go through the process of paying all the fees that come with it. And once you have that approved, you have soil testing also. And it's fairly easy. I would say about a month and a half. That's what it took us. It could be different for every city. So I'm talking about Chapala. And I wouldn't be sure exactly what it would be in different parts of Mexico. So good question. You have the next one?
Frank K. How do you heat the house in the winter? I think that's a good question.
That's my question that you have then.
No, I think it's a good question because some people, I don't know.
That's true.
The winters there are not as harsh over here.
So in some parts of Mexico, it's really cold. So they do have like floor heaters. It's different. They don't have central AC and heating. So that's kind of the way they heat it. They also have the split units that have heating and AC. So if you have more money, you can do that. But in Chapala, in itself, close to Ajijic, the weather is really good most of the time. The cold season is in January, but it doesn't get cold enough to have to heat up your home. My dad lives right there next to the golf course in Chapala. And I asked him about that question because he has a fireplace. And basically, and he's 81 years old. So I know as I get older, I get cold easier. And I asked him, like, what do you do to heat your house? He goes, it doesn't get that cold. He's 81, so he just puts on a jacket or a sweater. His fireplace, however, he says he just turns it on every once in a while, mostly for looks, then for the heat. So hopefully that answered your question.
Tip Top Holiday. I just subscribed. Thank you very much. Thanks for posting such informative and honest videos. Do you know why most houses in Mexico have concrete flat roofs? Why don't they use shingle, etc., like in the US?
Okay. So the roof, like United States, originated basically because of snow. That's why they did it with that elevated rooftops. I forgot, man. I'm sorry guys, but it's a basic triangle rooftops, mostly done for that reason. There's no need for that in this area of Mexico. So there's less room for heating and air if you need it. Because there is no insulation, it kind of look weird. However, there is some houses that are built with the same style roofs as United States. I think I posted one of those homes on one of my videos. Hopefully I can show you guys that on this one if I still have that video. In Mazamitla and some places where it gets cold, they do build the roofs. In Mexico it's called de dos aguas, and those roofs are because it either snows and you need the snow to repel. If you go to like to Arizona and New Mexico, you'll see that they're flat too, and that's due to conserving the heat, and there's no need basically to have that style and spend more money. However, if you want to, you can do it. You can spend the money and make it look like that if you're used to that. You have the next question?
El Vato Loco.
¿Qué onda, vato loco? Just kidding.
Says, so what is the total?
So right now I'm at 108. They are doing the patios and painting. That's going to bring me to 111. I just spoke to my dad last night. I think for what I want as far as the driveway, the outside wall, I think we'll end up either between 120 125,000.
Next.
Yeah, but I wanted to record this real quick because it's beautiful. I'm going to switch this around. This is just such a nice trail. By the way, that's my buddy Thor. He's our hiking buddy. We'll continue with the questions right now. Oh yeah, and Nemesis.
Little guy.
We love hiking. We also like doing a lot of things you can see on the other videos that I had. All right, I'm gonna turn this around. All right, next question.
Dirt Road Diva asks, curious as to where you are from originally.
Hello, Dirt Road Diva. That's a cool name. Do you live on a dirt road? My question to you. Hopefully you can answer that. Or maybe you're a dirt biker. Or maybe just... anyhow, let me answer your question. I'm originally here from California. I was born in Doherty, California, next to LA. So my parents are from Mexico. I lived in Mexico for 6 years. Hence, that's the reason I know a little bit more about Mexico and why I love Mexico. You have the next one?
Yeah. Martin Gallegos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning on building a lot to build my house there. How much a lot of 10 by 20 meters can cost me?
Well, obviously the price changes by location. My friend from work has a lot in Hamai. It's 10 by 25, she said. The lot cost her 13,000. This is Hamai, that's the end of Lake Chapala. So I would assume that anything close to Chapala is more expensive. Anything in the away from the ocean, away from the city, and away from Chapala is going to be cheaper. So that one's a little tricky because of locations. However, where we're at, my property cost me $22,500 in 2019. The new prices for that in 2021, 22 are about 50,000 to 60,000. So it has gone up. You have the next one?
Alan, sorry, we're just not going to say the last name.
Alan.
Is San Nicolas far from Ivy Peak?
San Nicolas is about, I think 18 miles away. Something like 20-25 minutes due to traffic. Because you have to go around, but it's really not that far. You can go through the town of Chapala, or you can go around to the carretera. On a good day, in the morning, 15 minutes. In the daytime, I would say 20 to 25.
Chewy.
Hola, Chuy.
120K is going to cost you building your house?
I think think I answered that a little bit. Another one, yeah, so it'd be like 120, 125. I hope it'll be 120 because money is sometimes hard to get. So 120, 125 to mostly finish it. Maybe not the backyard, but the front yard, driveway, and everything else. All right. What's the next question?
Traveling squirrel. What do you expect the final length of construction to be from start to ready for you to move in? Technically, it's ready.
Technically, it's ready. Okay, so the project would have taken roughly a year to complete from start to finish. It's been 2 years, okay, but that's mostly due to money and to the amount of personnel that I had. So at one given time, I believe I had 5 people. So it fluctuated between 5 people and 3 people. And one of the reasoning is, again, my dad has been managing this, so I haven't. So it was easier for him to order materials and keep up with things at that rate than to be full on, let's say a project manager, and be on top of ordering the materials, making sure they're on time, and having more people. So having less people allows the flow to slow down. However, it takes longer. So it really has to do with who's managing it. If you're going to manage it, or have somebody else manage it, so it might be a little quicker, and how much people you actually put on it. So for my project, it would have taken a year. Because of money constraints, it's taken me close to 2 years.
Ron Avery.
Hey, Ron.
What is the size of the footprint of the slab, and how many square feet in total are you having room on the second floor?
That's a recent question. The front of the slab measures 14 meters, and from front to back, or depth, is 15 meters. Of course, there's a section there where the patio goes, so it's the back patio is part of the slab. The front patio is not. And the total, the house is 1,800 square feet. And Lord willing, the idea is to make one big room in the top, like a family room, guest room, that will add anywhere from 400 to 500 square feet. So the house is 1,800 square feet now. So the house has a potential of being anywhere from around 2,300 square feet. If I were to close in the patio in the back, that will automatically give me 200 square feet, and then put the ladder in there, or the stairway, I'm sorry. But I don't plan to. So, and I don't see the need to such a big house. Now, my brother built a 3,200 square feet home, so he's a lot of cleaning. What's the next question?
Tony Miller, is there a basement?
No, there's no basement. You know, when I lived in Guadalajara, we had a basement. So I can't say there is no need for basement. We just don't have one. Could you have one? Yes, you can. I think homes that have a lot of hill have a potential of having a basement. But no, I don't have a basement. All right, so we'll continue just in a bit. All right, we'll continue with the next question.
I'm just gonna read all the questions.
Okay, I think because they're all similar, huh?
They're all similar. I'm not gonna read all their names. I'm also interested, where exactly is this area at in Chapala? It seems like a very tranquil place. Where did you get your lot? Seems like a nice area. Who do you go through to buy the land? Certain website or realty? Do you mind telling what town this is? I looked for lots on the internet, but they are way overpriced and small. Can't find anything to the price range you guys mentioned. Okay, that's Spanish. That's Spanish. Do you happen to know if any other lots for sale near your property? Can you please share and advise where we can purchase a lot to build nearby? You can read all the Spanish ones.
The Spanish ones. ¿Cuánto cuesta un terreno? Este es de Enrique Rivera. ¿Cuánto cuesta un terreno como el que tú estás construyendo? ¿Me podrías dar información? Te lo agradecería mucho. Luego, la siguiente pregunta. Hola, gracias. Este viene de Ismael. Hola, gracias por compartir con nosotros. ¿Qué posibilidad hay de compartir un terreno o comprar un terreno para construir mi casa en ese hermoso lugar? De José Desvaladas. Híjoles, ojalá no te arruiné tu nombre. No hay una propiedad como en de ventas cercas. Me interesa mucho informativo su video. Gracias. So the English and the Spanish are pretty much the same questions. So I posted a video. I'm going to put a link up here on the top about properties in Mexico and where it's located. So, but to answer in this one, the property is located in the town of San Nicolás Ibarra. It's about I think it was 13 miles away or 10 miles away from El Centro de Chapala, the downtown. It's right next to Country Club, Lagos, Vistas del Lago. And the development itself is called Lomas del Country. There is properties available there. However, compared to the video that you've seen, or the video that you've seen from my brother, the property prices have gone up considerably. And I expect them to go up because of location and just I know it seems like it's in the middle of nowhere, but really it's starting to develop nicely there. So yes, those are properties. Hopefully you can look at the link up here below, above, and you watch that video, and that would give you more information about properties in the same location. Las preguntas en español que me hicieron referente a las propiedades, si hay más propiedades cerca o en la misma locación que tienen mucho interés. Qué bonito que tengan interés en comprar terrenos ahí. Sí hay bastante información. Puse un video en inglés y en español referente a la compra-venta de terrenos, qué es lo que cuidar y si hay terrenos ahí cerca de donde estoy construyendo. Entonces voy a también poner el link aquí arriba. Primero el de inglés, luego el de español, para que si miran la barrita de arriba, háganle clic a ese y puedo dar más información. Pero sí hay muchos terrenos ahí. En cambio, los precios de los terrenos han subido bastante. Y yo compré mi terreno en $22,500 y ya están como a $50,000 a $60,000. Están caros. Y eso es porque el lugar se está desarrollando muy bonito, poco a poco, cerca del lago de Chapala. A cambio, como les dije, como en el resto del video, hay más propiedades más baratas en otros lugares. Cerca de Chapala está más complicado, pero cerca de los pueblos está más barato. O en Jamay, quizás está más barato también en Jamay. Ok, siguiente pregunta. Ay, perdón, perdí a mi hija. This is the hike. We're taking a little bit pauses. But man, this is so beautiful. We do have another channel. It's called Stephanie and Victor Films, where we record our hikes. So if you're interested in hiking here in Southern California, we've been hiking several places. So join us there. It doesn't have much of a following because it's not as active needed as building a house in Mexico. So, but if you're interested in that, please join us there.
Alfonso Jimenez says 100K budget, is it including land? And Susan McCrae says, does 150K include the lot?
So those are they're the same question. One's for my brother and one's for me. That includes a lot. My brother's lot, I believe, cost him $18,000 to $20,000, and my lot cost me $22,000 to $500,000, as I mentioned. But yes, that price breakdown includes a lot of in the price. Hope I answered that correctly. I feel like I was tongue twisted.
I think so. Mayan Girl says, can you open a bank account in Mexico and just wire the money from the US to the Mexican bank, since it would be a large amount? Thanks for the video. And then there's one in Spanish.
Hola Mayan Girl, how are you? Thank you. You've had a lot of questions for me. Thank you for subscribing, and everybody actually for subscribing and having an interest. You can actually wire pretty good size amounts of money. I believe my brother's wired up to 20,000 at a time. I believe you can actually wire more from bank to bank. My brother wires his money from Wells Fargo over to BBVA, Bancomer, with no issues. It does take some days to actually get it there. My money was already with my dad, so I didn't need to do that. But the other money that I have been transferring to him, I've done up to $10,000 or $9,999 because you can't do 10,000 for some reason, via Zoom. And that's with the X, PayPal, directly to his account. The rate is excellent. It's top rate. So whatever that top rate, the exchange rate is excellent. So, and I actually recommend that. So don't pull money out of the bank in Mexico. I would recommend that you actually transfer some and pay with your credit card if you can. But yes, you can make large amounts of transfers. I believe.
You can also do, like, you know, when you go to the liquor store and you send through Electra.
Electra?
Right?
Yeah. Do you know somebody that's transferred that way?
Yeah, we've transferred money before.
The other questions in Spanish?
The other question is Spanish.
Can you read it?
I don't know that much Spanish. It's
Mi
something about
hija es una güerita, pero también es mexicana.
I'm not that fluent. I feel like I'll butcher it. Here you go.
No sabe tanto español. Sí lo entiende, ¿eh? Es caraja. A ver. Víctor, me surgió otra pregunta. Esta es de Areli. Me surgió otra pregunta. ¿Cuál es la mejor manera de transferir el dinero a México y que te den el mejor exchange rate? Especialmente si transfieres suficiente dinero para comprar un terreno. Eso está ligado con la misma pregunta que tuvieron hace ratito. La mejor manera de hacer un wire transfer de banco a banco es la mejor manera, te da un buen cambio. La segunda manera que yo uso es Zoom vía PayPal. Ahí puedes transferir dinero hasta casi $10,000 de una vez. Si te hacen como preguntas, si te investigan un poco, nada de tener nervios. Si estás bien, tienes tu dinero legalmente, solamente quieren saber de dónde viene el dinero y a dónde va. Claro, por todos los problemas que hay en México y Estados Unidos referente al dinero. Entonces, esas son las mejores maneras y el mejor cambio de transferir dinero. Do you have other questions?
On to the next subject.
What is the next subject about?
I think about the house. Give me to the next question. I'm gonna stop for it because they're kind of long. This one's from Saul Covarrubias. Oh gosh, I think I skipped. Oh, can someone build American-style homes in Mexico, wood-framed with drywall? And if so, how difficult would it be to find laborers to build?
You know what? I think it'll be quite complicated. Like everywhere I go, construction sites, they don't have all the wood 2x4s, 4x6s, 4x4s, 2x6s, all the load-bearing beams and stuff like that. So I think it would be quite difficult to make a home in Mexico with wood. I've been told it can be done, but just materials alone will probably kill you. Not even in Tijuana, which is across the way, they build homes with wood. So I think what I've been told is also it's more expensive building a house with wood than it is with brick. I don't understand why. To me, I would figure that brick is more expensive than wood, but wood is more expensive.
They probably have to import all the wood.
Probably, huh?
Mm-hmm. It costs more.
What's the next question?
This is from Polenko, Jesse. We two are building a house in Michoacan. Ooh. Mm-hmm. My wife and I really love your windows and front door. Can you provide any info of where you got them?
So the reason my daughter went Michoacan, woohoo, because her boyfriend and her family's from Michoacan. So they go visit Michoacan, they love it. The window builder is in San Nicolas de Barra. I asked for his number. My dad said he doesn't have a number. He's a local there. So if you go into the town of San Nicolas Ibarra, he's towards the very end of the city. I know where he lives, but I don't feel the freedom to actually share that. If you ask people in the town, he is well known. So I recommend you going with him. Excellent herrero. I got him to do my windows in the pandemic. There was no work, so I got a good price. My brother just tried to price him, and price has gone high. I think steel has gone up high, and we don't use the tube metal. We use a solid, so it's more expensive. So that's the answer I can give for that. Look at that. Ooh, a little winded. What's the next question?
From James Carenza. Ooh, what's the cactus? That's not what he said, but... If you have not done so already, please consider researching and creating a video discussing the level of lake pollution and what, if anything, the government is doing to clean the lake. Is this fish safe to eat?
That's a really good question. I have not. I have investigated a little bit. I have not done my own testing. I would love to. I was trying to find a way to do an accurate test that would be right. There's easy tests. I don't think that would be enough to answer this question. However, I do know that Jalisco in itself is doing something about it. They've put two plants to manage waste in Rio Lerma before it actually goes to Chapala. I do think the lake has pollution in it. I see trash. That's just, gosh, that's everywhere. I even see it here, unfortunately. Not in some of the major lakes, but some lakes just people not being careful. There is a lot of wildlife, and that's kind of how I measure also pollution. People eat the fish. I haven't eaten the fish there only because I haven't needed it, but would I? Yes. The person working at my house eats the fish from there. He's fine, no problems. He's about 48, so he's doing good. There's a lot of birds, a lot of fish, different fish, carp, I believe, different types of fish. People go fishing every day there, so I would say that there is pollution. However, I think it's maybe at normal level. I wouldn't know how to answer that 100% correctly.
Habibti L, where did you buy the fridge and the stove?
I bought the fridge and the stove in a place called Uncle Sam in Ajijic. So you can actually Google that and you'll find it.
This is from either Jaime or Jamie.
Jaime!
Have you been using the same builders from start to where you're at now?
Yes, I've been using the same builders. His name is Juan. His brother works in there, his son works in there. So my dad has a 20-year relationship with him. He's done many projects for him. So yes, I've been using the same builder.
Miguel Mendoza. Are you using a general contractor?
No, I'm not using a general contractor. My dad is the boss, el jefe. So basically he does all the ordering of the materials. He manages the crew. So no, I don't use a general contractor.
Guillermo Hernandez. Is that red guard on the roof?
I don't think it's called red guard. Man, I'm going to butcher this, but it's impermeabilizante. It's weatherproofing. It's the local material that's used there to weatherproof the roof. Most of them are red. However, some of that same material is in white. So I like the red because of the way it looks.
This was a long question. Oscar Uribe? I think they ripped you off, man. With the roofing, over 300,000 in pesos is too expensive, but I do know that prices do change depending on the state you are in, and that type of ceiling is time consuming.
So like I said in the beginning, some questions can be snarky. This is not one of them. I think it's one of an honest question, so thank you. The roof was $15,000. All I can say about that, and I don't know if I got ripped off. I think it was a good price, considering location, materials, where they come from, steel where it's come from. The vigas are expensive. The way they make roofs over there are much different than the United States. But I think he's talking about even in Mexico. So I used estilo catalan, which is the exposed brick. You have to clean every brick. You have to choose a brick that you want. I like that style of brick. It has different layers, and I'll probably mess this up, but you have the layers of brick, hull, cement, and then you got some like tile that you put. Then you have torreado, which is another cement. The ceiling and then jarre are probably the most labor intensive of all the projects. The foundation was long, but I think the ceiling will take top as far as expenses and time. Maybe the next question.
Luna 40 says, why did you spend a lot of money building your house? Is it because Chapala materials are very expensive, or is it because they sell in US dollars?
So they don't sell in US dollars. Okay, like I said, this was a good question. It could sound weird, but it's a really good question because, for example, a house in California is not going to cost you the same as a house in Oklahoma. You build a 2,000 square foot home in Oklahoma and you build the same house in Southern California, it's going to cost you more. Now, Lake Chapala, yes, it's becoming known more and more known as an expat community. So I think some of it has to do with that. Property prices are more. Building is more. However, I got a bunch of locals to work there, so I don't know about the labor. I know they have to also live on a little bit higher wages compared to Guadalajara. So it could be that a big part of it was location, and expect to pay a lot more close to the beach cities.
Juan Cas, I am from Mexico and you, my friend, overpaid. That's so expensive. I think depends how you're comparing. How much is it just buy a house here? At least $325,000.
Yeah, you know, I asked the same guy. I think that was more a little bit snarky one. So I don't even think he even subscribed. So his intention is not to know about more, but just to say something.
Maybe for people living in Mexico, it's expensive, but for us, the cost to build a house over there is cheaper than buying a house out here.
Yeah.
So for us, it's good price, but for them, maybe no.
Yeah, it could be that. I've seen some houses built in Mexico. My dad did not go cheap on the materials, I can tell you that. He made sure that, for example, the brick, maybe not top grade, but it was a good grade. Then jarre, it was about 1 inch thick. It wasn't a thin layer. So, and the ceiling was done with the idea of making sure that, you know, when it does get hot, which is in May, it doesn't affect it too much. Or when it gets cold in January, it doesn't affect. So everything was done with a purpose. So can you make a house cheaper? Yes, I believe so. But will it be the same quality? You know, if you can tell me, if you guys can put a link of a house like that, I would love to know, because this channel is not about my home. It's about possibilities in Mexico and what people can make over there, what people can build over there.
Mr. Juan Diego, 1988. Very nice, but isn't it the point of moving to Mexico to not spend this much? I mean, if you have it, knock yourself out. Personally, I wouldn't do it.
Mexico's a choice. I was talking to my brother-in-law. He's from Indiana. You can buy a home over there for $70,000, 1,500, 1,800 square feet. 100,000, you can buy over 2,000 square feet. So I love that portion of Indiana. I've gone there to see them, and the family is great. However, I wouldn't live there. I don't like it. Property prices is cheap. Taxes, I'm saying, it's beautiful. But the reason of building in Mexico is not exactly all about the cheapness of building a home. It's about your future and living in a place that you love, people that you love. Yes, part of it is the cost of living is cheaper, but honestly, like, you can live cheap in somewhere else and you're just not going to enjoy yourself. However, in Mexico, right there in Chapala specifically, you know, like, my wife is a city girl. There's no way that I can even propose something like that if there wasn't a city next to her. So Guadalajara is 40 minutes away. Then you have the lake and you have the countryside. You have, and then soon it'll be a 2 to 3 hour drive to Puerto Vallarta, which is really close. Yes, I can buy a property in the United States. However, I don't want to. I already have one here. And if I had it my way and the Lord blesses me, I like to live in both places. As you can see, I'm really close to my daughters. I have 4 of them. So I would love to be in both places because they both places have something to offer. But that's a good question. And it's your choice. You want to live in Mexico? I think there's, okay, a little bit more to that. United States is, to me, is a really good place to make a living as far as coming over here, work your butt off. But it's a horrible place to retire or to get old. The respect to the elderly has gone down a lot. In Mexico, they still respect the elderly. I feel, you know, like more retired expats over there in Mexico live a life. It's just nicer than here. Over here, I see them sad, closed in. It's very mechanical here in the United States. I love it. Look where we're at right now. It's just beautiful. California is beautiful. However, it's not my choice. Because of my daughters, that's kind of like why I would do 50-50. And honestly, there's a lot of places in the United States that I love. And I would love to keep coming and seeing and hiking, driving to cities and beaches and stuff like that. But I wouldn't want to build a retirement home over there. You have the next question?
Yes, I like this question.
And this video is kind of long, so hopefully you guys...
Luis Casillas. Wow, for $108,000 US, you could have built a house here in the US. True. Why would you want to build a house in Mexico? With all the cartels at war and the government not providing enough security for that super high price in Mexico, I would have chosen to build a house in the USA. But is our government any really better?
That's from my daughter, not enough for me. She's young. So that portion of the cartel, I'm going to answer in the safety part of it. Okay, and I think I answered the question, the first part of the question, as far as buying in the United States. Gosh, there's so much to say in this video. Super long. I didn't expect it to be as long, but there's a lot of questions. What's the next question?
It's in Spanish.
Read it. She tried. Tu proyecto está bien, es particular, pero la verdad, los precios están muy exagerados. Pero pienso que si hay, en ese lugar es lo que te están cobrando. I think it's the same question about, and this is from Jose Ruelas, about, sí, los precios están altos, pero creo que están razonables con el lugar. Y como dije anteriormente, se puede hacer una casa más barata, quizás materiales y locación. So once we get to the end of where we're hiking, I'm going to answer one of the major questions about safety and security. I know this video has been long, so hopefully I don't bore you guys to death. Hopefully I answered enough questions that you can make a decision whether this is for you or not. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of the hike, and at the end of the trail, I'll answer questions about safety, which is going to take a little bit longer. Well, we reached the end of our hiking trail, and also we're going to end of the actual questions and answers. So I wanted to spend the majority of part, I know this is a long video, but I wanted to spend the majority of part addressing safety concerns. But I also just want to address some of the snarky remarks that really just put fear into people, or they don't know what they're talking about. For example, Peanut Butter in 1926 said, after you build it, the cartels will take it. I'm serious, like, honestly, it's a stupid remark, but however, stupid remarks like that get to a lot of people and really don't know much more. I mean, fear is a big factor anywhere you move. So if you hear enough of it, you might think it's true. Now, are cartels a danger? Yes, they're a danger. Definitely. You can hear them all over border towns in Michoacan. There's a lot of cartels. However, if you respect that side and leave them alone and you're not into it, there's really no point. The other thing that I think is just, I don't tend to say this, but stupidity, is that my house is 108 to 120,000. It's stupid to think that my house in Mexico is up in the upper class. It's not. It's a beautiful home. It's in a beautiful area. However, right there in the area of Chapala, Ajijic, San Antonio, Tierra Barrenada, Ocotepec, there's houses there 200, 300, 400, $500,000, $1 million homes. If the cartels were going to take anybody's homes, do you think they're going to want my home? I mean, they could. They could take anybody's. They can take yours here in the United States if they really want to. So it's kind of a stupid remark. However, it's embedded in a lot of people's heads that that cartel is going to do this and do this to you. And it could be. It's true. It could be. I don't want to negate that. But it's not the majority of what happens. So some of the questions are stemmed behind that. For example, Rod Martinez, thank you for your question. It says, hello, new subscriber from California. We've been thinking of possible buying and building a property there. How are the locals, and it's safe? Is it a safe place to raise children? And then Maria Jarco, I was born in Mexico and my brother does construction in Torreon. But more and more, I would love to retire there. How safe is the area? I'm from Zacatecas, but I have been in America for over 45 years. And then Refugio, I'm from California, love those pictures, nice relaxing music, well put together. I'm semi-retired and playing with the idea of buying a small house close to a beautiful lake, but I'm also afraid of the insecurity. There is a lot more homicides in Mexico. For example, in this year of 2021, in Mexico, there's been 25,392 homicides in Mexico. However, I mean, we have to have something to compare with. The United States has 19,400 homicides. Being that the majority of the homicides are within the war of cartels, and it doesn't normally spell out to the normal common citizens, it's not much different. There is a huge difference, 6,000 It's a lot, but that's one of probably the major factors that people shy away from Mexico, and it's due to the data as far as homicides. But for example, California had 2,203 homicides. In the state of Jalisco, they had 2,627. There's not much of a difference between California and Jalisco, and so when you hear about homicides, now Guanajuato had 4,940 homicides, but one of the best cities in Mexico is in Guanajuato, which is San Miguel de Allende. So all the homicides and stuff like that are not spewed into every city in Mexico. So that's why earlier in the video I said the best thing to do is to move to a place, scope it out, but don't let fear hold you from going to Mexico and finding a beautiful place to retire, where your money goes a lot further, where there's beautiful cities, the people are just awesome there. Now, you do hear tragedies. For example, the 2 people who passed away in Tulum, Americans. But how many Latinos die in the United States and there's no big deal? I don't understand why when a tourist goes to Mexico, it's a big deal. But when a Mexican comes to the United States, it's not that big a deal.
No one hears of it.
Nobody hears of it. So mostly it's the most social thing. I think as Americans, we have to be immune to any type of harm in another country. But it's not fair. Most of the homicides in Mexico are due to the drug cartel and due to the people fighting there, not with the common citizens or people who just want to live there, make a living, or even help the communities. In fact, some of those like to help the communities. I wouldn't agree in the ways, but they like to help the communities in some cases. So let's talk a little bit about crime. United States has, for example, read this a little bit. In 2020, United States recorded 126,430 rapes in the United States. In Mexico, there was 1,962. It's a little backwards. We hear about the homicide rate, but we don't hear about all of the rest of the crimes that are happening in the United States. The population is higher, I get it, but come on. If you go into Detroit, if you go into St. Louis,
You're going into LA right now.
Yeah, going into LA. I have 4 daughters, so yes, homicide's a big issue, but one thing that I think is rape, because my girls, beautiful. So I'm always worried about where they go, who they go with. In the United States, don't go alone, go together. For example, I tell my daughter, go with your boyfriend, don't leave without him. Because there's also concerns in the United States about safety, okay? Now, you can say these are recorded. In Mexico, they don't record things. But in the United States, we don't record everything either. So these are recorded cases of rapes in the United States compared to Mexico. If you look at break-ins, the United States ranks higher in break-ins and thefts than Mexico. Almost in every class, the United States ranks higher in crimes than Mexico, other than homicide. Now you say, well, homicide is a big deal. It is a big deal, but it can't be the full measurement of what Mexico's about. And that to me, that brings falseness. It brings fear into people. So earlier I told you that faith plays a big part of my decisions, because a matter of facts, factual things don't remove fear. Fear is spiritual. Okay, so you can't confront fear without a spiritual base, without trusting in God. If you're not religious, then you still have to find a way, but facts don't do it. For example, I'm afraid of flying like crazy. The facts is that you dying in an airplane is like very, very low. However, it's a fearful thing.
You're more likely to die in a car crash.
Yeah, most likely to die in a car crash, and I drive more. So I have to confront that fear with my faith. So there's a lot of things. When you go into a surgery, statistics say that you're going to survive that surgery most likely, but the fear is still there of you being that lucky 1 or 2 that is going to pass in the surgery. So when you're thinking about Mexico and purchasing properties in Mexico, you're probably thinking, I might be that one person that's going to get shot by the cartel, or the house is going to be taken away.
But over here, we have school shootings like crazy. Like you're scared to send your child to school or movie theaters. It's the same thing.
When is the last time did you guys hear in Mexico that somebody shut up a school, or went into a mall and shut up people, or went into a dance club and shut off people, or went to a party and that rapper guy, I don't know who he is, let disaster happen in that place? I think as Americans, we want to put a blind eye to the truth, what's happening here in the United States, and think that everybody else is just less. I'm not trying to minimize the United States. I'm not trying to minimize Mexico. I love both places. I was born here. I'm Mexico descent. I've made my living here, so I have a lot to be grateful. But also to demonize Mexico is wrong. And that's something that I just want to encourage you guys to not pay attention to all the media that portrays Mexico. Media sells on fear. If you look at everything they do, they sell fear. They graph because it's important to people. When is the last time you heard good news? There's a lot of good news. There's over 1 million people living in Mexico of American descent, expats. No, not talk about Canadians, Germans, and stuff like that. 1 million people that are fine over there, living fine, happily and joyfully. You have to take, yeah, I can give you all the facts in the world, but ultimately the fears you're going to have to confront by going there by yourself, putting your faith in God, and facing the fears in the way that you can best. So I'm happy for all the questions that you did. I'm very grateful for the support. I know this video is going to be super long, so hopefully I can separate it so you guys can jump from one section to another. And hopefully it was helpful to you guys. And just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to my daughter for being part of the video and letting me take over this hike, because we do these hikes on our own sometimes, and let me do the answering questions on this one. So God bless you guys. Next time, Lord willing, I'll be filming the updates of the home in January. So maybe mid-January I'll be posting the video of that house and my brother's house, and then give you guys some updates from there. So again, this channel was made for the purpose of presenting you a different solution of retirement. That will be Mexico, and places to visit in Mexico. So please support me on both. I'll be very grateful. Give me a thumbs up for this video. And again, God bless you guys. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.